Secondly, is there an update on the potential rail strike? Is the president talking to any of the parties?
So just a couple of things on that that I want to say just at the top, because I think it's important. I know I spoke to this on the plane yesterday. As the president has said, from the beginning, a shutdown is unacceptable because of the harm it would inflict on jobs, families, farms, businesses, and communities just across the country. And a majority of unions have voted, as you all know, I know you guys are following this very closely, to ratify the tentative agreement that we saw back in September. And the best option still is for the parties to resolve their differences themselves, and that's what the president's going to continue to call on. To your specific question, though, Steve, the president is indeed involved directly, but I don't want to get into details at this time, but he has been involved. He remains focused, again, on protecting America's families. We have to avoid a rail shutdown. It will harm, again, families, businesses, and farms. And so we're going to continue to speak to this. The administration is in touch, again, to your question, with parties involved, as we have been since before the tentative agreement was reached.
Great. To that question, the White House does seem a lot more hands-off this time around, though, than you were before the last strike deadline. Smart Transportation Division President Jeremy Ferguson this morning said that there's been, quote, no real engagement yet at this point from the administration. Can you explain what's different this time around? You keep pointing to the fact that it's the best option is for the parties to resolve this themselves. Is that because you don't want Congress to get involved, or is that because you'd like these unions to resolve this amongst themselves without involvement from the administration?
We have said, look, there's a tentative agreement, as you all know about, and we have said I just said the president has been directly involved. He's been in touch, the administration more broadly has been in touch with respective parties. Secretary Walsh, as I mentioned yesterday, has been in touch. We have been involved since before the tentative agreement. The president laid out, as you all know, a path forward. But this is something that he believes that the parties should resolve themselves. They should come to the table in good faith and get this done. Get this done on behalf of the American people.
Can you explain how the president's been involved, though, just given that one of the union presidents is saying he hasn't seen any real engagement?
I mean, you're
so
talking
far,
about.
You've only told us that he's been briefed, but you haven't given us.
No, I just said
else.
he's been direct. I said this is the third time I'm saying he's been directly involved. You're talking about one union president. There are 12, so you're talking.
To other
You're talking about one. I said I'm not going to provide any details at this time. The administration, more broadly, has been also in touch with parties. Yes, the president has been clearly. He's been he's been briefed, but he has actually been directly involved. Not going to get into more details on that, but you're talking about one president out of 12, and I know that they voted yesterday. This particular union that you're speaking of, but again, we are calling on all parties to come together and resolve this.
And then on a